Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great. Fuck.
What?
I fucked it up.
Oh, you botched it.
I've said it so much. Another great week, another great episode coming at you. I've said it so much, I fucked it up. But we're going to leave that there because
You're in your own. Yeah, we're leaving it in. I'm not editing it out.
Yeah.
You're in your own head.
We're authentic. You know what it is? It's the
Damn.
Discord. The Discord, those guys in there, every time I come into the channel, they just put it on and then it's in my head now.
They got you.
They got me. And now they're going to do it more just because I just mentioned this.
Well, now they're gonna do a recording of you fucking it up and then use that as the recording. That's what I would do.
Fucked. I'm fucked. But yeah, welcome, welcome to episode 78 of Pressing Buttons, the hat episode. For those that are listening just on audio, we have hats on, and for those that are on video, look at our hats. Real quick housekeeping. Like we discussed last week, we wanted to do the memory card segment. We came up with some questions. Which will form the basis of the memory card segment that we do. The first segment, Nick and I will do it. I'll do the first one and we'll put it up at the end of our episodes, and Nick will do the second one. And then the timing for this is probably going to be the first episode of every month. We'll put one, that way we don't overwhelm you guys and we don't run out of people to do it. So hopefully we get a lot of volunteers that will want to do this, but basically we'll just add that to the end of the episode for the audio. And then as far as video, we'll put it as like its own separate thing on our YouTube channel, where it'll be short. We want to keep these under 5 minutes, that way we're not kind of rambling on. And the 5 questions that we will be asking will be, and Nick and I, so he can participate in this, will alternate. So I will go off with the first question. It's going to be, what's the story behind your gamer handle? And then the second question is,
Just say all of them. Like, there's no.
I'm trying to get you to participate, you bastard.
No. Just say all of them.
All right, whatever. I will say all of them then.
Yeah.
Thanks for participating.
It's so cringe alternating.
It's very cringe.
Yeah.
What's the story behind your gamer handle's the first one. Second one is, why do you enjoy playing video games? Third is, what game would you recommend and why? Fourth is, what is your greatest gaming achievement? And 5 is, who's your favorite video game character and why? These are, like, I feel like very good essential questions for something like this, especially so we can get to know our community and our gamers, get more to know more of them. Obviously, like we said, Discord is a big part of our Pressing Buttons community. We enjoy everybody that's on there that loves playing video games and likes to participate in the community. So we want you guys to also participate on the podcast. So we'll have these up. I will record mine this week, so that way we can have it ready for the first week's episode of September. And then we'll also put it up on Discord, so you guys can see kind of like how I do it and can go off of that. And then we'll do Nick's for October. And then, whoever wants to participate, please join in. No discrimination here. If you don't want to do video, you don't have to either. You can just do a voice recording and we'll figure it out and, work our producing magic at how good we are doing these videos.
I'm going to try to figure out how to use AI to create some sort of video representation of the audience member.
We're opposed to AI taking the jobs of all the actors and voice actors and movie stars, but we're not opposed to AI doing our work for us when it comes to editing. So, you got to pick and choose your battles. But yeah, make sure you guys are following up if you want to take part of this, and we want you guys to take part of this. And then, make this community grow and have everybody get to know each other.
I'm just realizing that the name of this segment, which I like, but it definitely ages us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Memory cards aren't a thing.
They're not a thing.
Memory cards aren't a thing anymore.
They're not a thing, but they are something that will forever be known in video games. I think, like you will never forget.
What's your favorite memory card?
Obviously, the PlayStation. I think the PlayStation.
Really?
Even though the Dreamcast one was really good too.
I mean, I would definitely go Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Visual memory unit.
But the PlayStation
with the one with the clear blue case.
Yeah.
Specifically.
So physically, I guess Dreamcast would be the best. But in terms of software,
you can fucking play games on it. Like it's like What more do you need?
Yeah, but in terms of software, the PlayStation ones always had like an image or something of what the game was, so you knew what the file was. So that was pretty cool. So,
I think they all had that, right?
well, PlayStation started it.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, even though it ages us, I think it's very understood that we want to recall that wonder of people playing video games and what it means to them and all that stuff. And it's for your memory, you know, memory card. It rolls right off of, the tip of the tongue. And then maybe
Okay.
D-Pass, if you're hearing this, we need some art.
I can't wait. I was actually thinking I can't wait to hear D-Paz's memory card.
Yeah, yeah. Our very great art guy, D-Pass, Daniel, we love that guy, and he's a very, very big fan of the show. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on. We need to do an episode.
We got a beefy episode too.
It is a beefy episode, and most of it is Gamescom beef. If you
Beefcom.
Beefcom, if you joined us on Tuesday when we did the live stream, we did the live stream for Gamescom 2023. So you guys didn't have to watch any of it. It was definitely as advertised. Jeff Keighley said that there wasn't going to be anything new. It was just mostly a lot of footage from already announced games that we're releasing this year and early next year. So it wasn't anything new, nothing to look forward to, but we were live streaming it. Thanks for everybody that joined us, especially Easy, Ollie, Joe, and who's the other one? Chasse, for chatting it up and all that stuff. I know the show wasn't entertaining, but Nick and I were very entertained, even though Nick pounded like so many Red Bulls. I think he went into a crash overload afterwards.
I almost thought I needed to go to the hospital.
That's how boring it was.
I had a pretty like intense day before the show even started, and then trying to do a 2-hour live stream when there's really nothing very hype happening during it was pretty tough. So I was like pounding coffee and Red Bull and much more than I usually do. And I think I was sending texts to you guys of like, hey, my heart doesn't feel good. So maybe next time I'll just be like, I'll just be tired instead.
I think
fine.
that's you dating yourself, because now people know you're old. My heart's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we watched the showcase, and then we live streamed it. We're gonna go over everything that they announced. We're not gonna cover everything because honestly, it's a lot of stuff, and I know everybody's not super interested in it, in everything. But we will stop at certain points for any games that we are really interested in or we enjoyed the gameplay that they showed. There was a couple that did surprise us, so look out for those. And then, as always, we will put the showcase in our show notes, so that way if you want to check out the whole presentation, the whole showcase, you can check that out yourselves. So I'll start it off. First things first, before any trailers, Jeff Keighley, as he was about to introduce Todd Howard on stage, got stage rush again for the second time in less than a year. So this is our very, very public shout out to Jeff Keighley. Please get some better security. It happened at the Game Awards. It happened at this. This can't happen a third time. If it happens at this year's Games Awards, there's something wrong, bro. And you have to start punching people. It's okay to punch people if they're rushing the stage. If there's a streaker, punch them. If there's somebody rushing the stage, punch them. If you're at a concert and somebody's rushing the stage, punch them. You don't know what these people are going to do. It's a crazy world out there. Your thoughts on this, Nick?
Definitely should have punched. Should have came out swinging.
Yeah. He has to get this bad boy image. Get the bad boy image.
Yeah. I think like you could see the Canadian in him, where it's like
he's
conflict.
He's been doing this too long to be worried about it. I would, I was ready to punch, bro, and I think you would have been ready to punch too.
Yeah. So we're making light of it, but it's shitty and potentially like that's kind of scary. So what I thought was hopefully just like a one-off weirdo thing. So I hope it's not like a pattern and there's this like community of weirdos who are like specifically trying to do this shit. just a Jeff Keighley. Like I don't know why it must be like Jeff Keighley things, but so who know? Like who knows? But hopefully that's. I mean, if anything, the learning now is like okay, like let's just get more disciplined around like stage security, and then also just like who they let into these things, and being like a little bit more maybe selective with how you get into it. So,
Maybe it's because he won't
but
punch him. If he punches a guy or a girl, then they'll think twice.
yeah,
Yeah, that's my solution. Just punch him. All
yeah.
right. So for the start of the show, they showed off a live action Starfield trailer with a man playing the piano. It looked really cool. I always love when they do these live action trailers for video games. They always look very fantastic. They also had Todd Howard come in. He came in, talked about Starfield and their ambitions and what it means for the company and the future of it. They also showed a trailer for Building Sims, Aura, Untold Story, and Age of Empires, which are two building sims. Not my cup of tea, but they look cool. Shout out to Ollie. He'll probably like that shit. They showed off Alan Wake 2 gameplay footage, also with live action sequences, which Remedy's kind of known for. They did it with Control, they did it with Quantum Break, and they're doing it with Alan Wake 2, so that looked pretty cool. Armored Core launch trailer, Armored Core 6 launch trailer, which we'll discuss later because we've both been playing Armored Core, so we want to leave that for its own thing. They showed off a narrative trailer for Assassin's Creed Mirage with full Arabic voice, and that's releasing a week early, October 5th. Black Myth Wukong gameplay trailer. This one we want to talk about. The trailer that they showed feels amazing, looked amazing. We've been this has been on our radar because I think in a lot of people's radar just because of how great it looked, especially it being a Soulsborne game from the looks of it. I think the first trailer got released like a year ago and everybody was fascinated that it looked so good. And in this one, they showed off a lot of the enemies, very crazy looking mythological creatures. They were amazing. I think it looked really, really well. The movement looked really, really well, and it was steady. No info, unfortunately, on when the release will be, which is kind of disappointing. Hopefully, it releases sometime early in 2024. I don't think it's going to make a 2023 window. What do you think of this trailer, Nick?
It was I think one of the highlights of the show for me was just seeing more footage from this game, which I was already interested in. Continues to look awesome. They actually did I think it was like 15 or 16 minutes of gameplay footage. So they did like another video like after the show. So I watched that. The music is like awesome. Like the music and the sound design is also a highlight for me. So, and there's part of me that's like, at what point do we reach critical mass of Soulsborne games where there's just like it's too saturated and there's too many, and at least for me, like I'm not there yet, but like right now it does feel like it's like oh my god, there's like so many Soulsborne games, and this is maybe I think there's a lot of games in that genre, but this one's like okay, like that's like a carbon copy of like a Soulsborne game, and it's just kind of like in a new setting and done by this studio in China. But even with that, like I still thought it looked great, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, like you said, with the saturation of the market when it comes to Soulsborne games, definitely it's like, will we get tired of it? Honestly, I don't think you and I ever will. But that's also because we're very kind of picky about the ones we do want to play. Like this one, we have Lords of the Fallen coming up, Remnant. So they do have those ones that differentiate themselves from the regular scraps. Liza P as well, that's coming out pretty soon. So we know the good ones, and there are some good ones and some bad ones. So we just stick to the good ones. All right. Next thing was they showed off a Modern Warfare 3 mission level footage. Looks like Call of Duty.
This was the low light of the show
This was when I think
for
you
me.
took a bathroom
I think
break
I
or
just left.
something.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just gave up on the stream, and I was like, I'll just come back in 10
yeah.
minutes. And
Not
it's like,
nothing.
what? It's like, I feel like they do this. What was the other? I can't remember what it was, but I think it
Payday.
was fairly recent. They did like another like 15-minute video like
Oh yeah,
during
yeah.
during one of these like big shows. And I'm just like, I don't care what the game is. Like anything more than 5 minutes is inappropriate. So it's like
I
stop
mean,
doing this.
it's Call of Duty. Unfortunately, and this is sad to say, it looks the same every year. It's war, it's tactical stuff, it's night vision goggles, it's guns, it's all that. It does look good. I'm not gonna lie. It looks really, really good. But like
Technically, it looks cool, but like,
that, this isn't gonna like
yeah, it's like I don't need to look at it for 15 minutes or
you
however
know if
long it
you're
was.
if you're gonna buy the game before you even saw this.
Yeah,
So
people who are buying this game aren't watching the Gamescom like show.
yeah, that's why we did it.
Yeah,
All right. Next, the Crew Motorfest trailer that's launching September 14th. The next one is one that we were very, very interested in. We didn't even, I don't think I knew about it. I definitely didn't know about it. I don't think Nick knew about it, but Crimson Desert. They showed off gameplay for about 3 to 4 minutes. It's an action RPG very similar to The Witcher. Looks beautiful, very expansive world. You could be doing a lot of things, riding your horse, jumping off, turning into crows or something. That's what it
no,
looked
not
like.
even. It seemed like you have to like kill your horse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah. This was like kept showing like
just
had the horse jumping off a cliff and then you like jumping off the horse. Can you
it's like GTA but with
don't
horses.
kill the
Just
horse? Don't kill the horse.
GTA with horses. You just get rid of a horse. You hijack somebody else for their horse.
Yeah, I guess.
Then you also had them jumping off Sky Islands, very similar to Tears of the Kingdom, which was really intriguing. This was a surprise, like I said. Hadn't seen anything about this game. Saw the trailer. Want to know everything about this game, and I'm looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this was probably the most impressive thing that I saw. So it was certainly a highlight. I think the most impressive thing that I saw. So much so that I don't believe, like
Any of it?
I don't believe the trailer is real. So
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
I'm optimistic, but cautiously optimistic. So we'll just have to see what it's like when real people are playing the game. But just based on what you saw in the trailer, it's like, oh my god, like that looks fucking unbelievable.
And the only disappointing thing about this was that we initially thought that it was going to be have some sort of co-op or multiplayer type thing, and it was announced that it wasn't. It's a single player experience, which kind of sucked. But it does look really good. We'll keep an eye out on this one, and we'll keep you guys updated because this is definitely one of those that could be a sleeper hit if it comes out, if it's real. Next thing. Next
If it's a
thing,
real game.
if it's a real game. Next thing is Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. They showed off some gameplay for the expansion coming out. They also showed off some reworks for the 2.0 patch that will include new abilities that you can unlock, new cars that you can unlock and now shoot out of, and new perks. They also had some Edge Runner Easter eggs, so you'll be able to, use some of that stuff with callbacks to the Edge Runner anime that they released that was very popular. It looked really good. This definitely actually gave me the inkling to kind of go back and play Cyberpunk. I know we talked about this and I was looking for something to play. And with the 2.0 patch, definitely is something I want to get into. I'll definitely wait till they actually release it before I get back into the world and probably start a new character and then just get a new experience and kind of diverge from what my initial playthrough was. What do you think of the trailer and the new updates to the game?
Very excited. I think I'll probably. So I have no idea what's going to happen for someone, So I was able to play the game at launch and complete it. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen when version 2.0 comes out, and I'm assuming that it'll all just work and everything's still there, but the game might be like quite a bit different in certain cases. But my plan is to just go right into the DLC. Mainly because there's too many fucking games. So if there was more of like a dry period, I would be like clean slate, version 2.0. I'm going to start from scratch, new character, and just kind of go through the whole game again because I don't think it was that long of a game. So I think that could be, and I think there's enough like different ways you can play it where I think there could be, could be fun to kind of just like go through it again and then also go right into the DLC after that. But as of right now, I'm just gonna focus on the DLC, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, all the side missions and all the extra stuff that you could do was definitely what made the game longer, but definitely going to be a welcoming look to the game and feel of the game. Can't wait to get back on it when I do. Next game is Dustborn. It looks to be like an action dialogue cell shaded game that looked very interesting. One very interesting thing, which is the next one, Diablo 4 Season of Blood. They showed off a trailer for the next season, which will focus on vampires. And I want to kind of talk about this a little bit. I forgot we didn't highlight this one. Gemma Chan will be playing Vampire Hunter Eris. For those that don't know who that is, she was in Crazy Rich Asians. She was also in Internals and Captain Marvel. But the very interesting
And
thing,
humans.
and in humans, which we talked about on the live stream for a bit.
Yeah.
The very interesting thing about this Diablo 4 Season of the Blood trailer was how it didn't look like Diablo 4. As soon as we saw this, we knew it was Diablo, but we thought that it was the mobile game. I don't know what they were using or what they were showing off, but it looked like they were showing off the mobile game. We were very surprised when they actually said that it was the console PC version because it just looked very, very wonky and shitty, and it looked like a mobile game. And they didn't really show much gameplay of it. They showed, I think, about 30 seconds of it. Most of it was like hand-drawn animation. But very concerning. I feel like Diablo has seen a drop off from the release where there were so many players. And I talked about this before when it comes to Diablo, because they are new to this, trying to do this type of live service game with seasons and stuff like that. And they're just starting out. There will be a lot of bumps, especially in the beginning while they get used to it. Bungie at Destiny definitely had their issues in the beginning. Did a lot of good things, but there was also a lot of things that they had to get used to and fix because it's a big undertaking to keep these type of games going and keep people interested. What did you think of this, and how is your passion for Diablo holding on? I know you've had a lot of contenders coming in.
Yeah, so I did not think this was Diablo when they started showing the footage. I thought the opening cinematic was just weird looking and not good.
I thought
And I thought it was like a completely new game or something like that. So it just looks weird. Like,
real quick too. I thought I initially said it was Diablo just because I feel like I've seen like Diablo do cutscenes or whatever with that type of animation. So that's the only reason I was like, oh, I think it's
maybe,
Diablo.
yeah, maybe I'm just out of the loop and have never seen that. But either way, like I thought that was just like a bad looking, even for that style. Like I just thought it looked bad. Uh, and then the actual footage, yeah, like I think we both were like, oh, they're showing Diablo Immortal mobile footage, and it's looked awful. Like I just don't understand because I know like I played the game. I think it looks great. Like so I'm either like losing my mind or so I don't know what's going on. And I was actually looking up like it was one of those situations where I thought I was the crazy one, and maybe that's the case because I was looking at like YouTube comments and people reacting, and it's kind of mixed, which most kind of Diablo or Blizzard stuff tends to be kind of mixed in terms of fan reaction. But I thought this one was going to get like crucified by like how bad it looked. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little bit more critical. But that did not look like the game that have played a lot of on PC. So and then they didn't really provide much information, so I think a lot of people are just kind of like, "Oh, okay, like whatever." So I think they were really banking on Gemma Chan being kind of like a big deal or a big add to the cast, and I think that's pretty much it. So
Yeah, I do think there was a lot of backlash as they were showing it, but you're right. I didn't see much on the internet of like people questioning it. It is weird because super advertised it right before release. It was getting so much press and stuff, and now it's kind of like forgotten. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of crazy good games. Baldur's Gate being
Yeah,
the
like
main
I
competitor.
yeah, no, I think I guess that was the second part of your question. Like I was having a really good time with it, and I know a lot of people were up in arms about, the seasons and all that stuff. I was less less bothered by that. Really, it's just all these other games that have been coming out. So just the new shiny objects have been attracting my attention, and that's why I just haven't put much into Diablo. But I think Diablo will always be in our like contender for weekly game night. We just want to log in and kill shit. So I think that's going to be, it'll at a minimum be that, and then the question is like over time, will I have the opportunity to try to complete the campaign? Which is a question mark because there's just too much good stuff coming out.
It's a stacked September and October, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Next game, Genshin Impact. Will have a concert series touring a bunch of countries, so look out for that if you're a big Genshin fan or music fan. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. There was a trailer showing off gameplay footage as well as story footage. This game, I think, looks incredible. The CG cell shaded stuff on it looks incredible. The gameplay looks incredible. So I'm looking forward to this, especially because it seems to be more of like your classic RPG type game, which I don't think we've had like a big one in a while. What do you think of this one?
Looks good. I don't have too much to add other than I thought the trailer looked great. I've been patiently waiting for this game for multiple years. It's almost here, and that's it.
When's it releasing?
Is it
Thanks.
February?
Yeah, February 2024.
I think it's February. Yeah, because
Oh yeah,
that's my
that's right.
birthday gift.
It's
Yeah,
your birthday game.
yeah.
They always release
Well,
games on your birthday.
I think it's is it PlayStation only?
Yes, PlayStation only in the
Uh,
beginning. You're
Damn.
gonna have to use your PS5.
PS5. Yeah, that should be fine at PS5.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use it eventually.
Okay. Okay.
Next game, Expedition Mud Runners, which is basically an exploration game where you just have jeeps and drones. It looked all right, if that's your thing. The First Descendant, which is a shooter, which is a looter shooter. It's a third-person action game. I had the honor of playing the alpha. It played all right. I think it's something that people might pick up. Then we have Fort Solis, which is a Troy Baker, Roger Clark, and Juliette Brown starring game in space. Star-studded affair for a lot of good voice actors or well-known voice actors. So check that out. It looks to be very narrative-driven, so could be interesting. Next, we have Honkai Star Rail, which will be releasing on PS5. They had a trailer for that. Next game is Immortals of Avium. Gina Torres presented a trailer for the game, which is out now. To much chagrin, I think there's been some issues on PC, but let me know what you guys think of that. There was a Killing Floor 3 trailer. There was a Lost Epoch ARPG. There was a Lost Epoch trailer, which is an ARPG style game. For those that don't know, it's basically like the Diablo type games. There was also Little Nightmares 3, which is the third game in the Little Nightmares series. I was gonna say,
Damn, that's
no,
some value added
I was gonna say three
commentary.
I was gonna say three and I was
Threequel?
like, I don't think I could say that, and that's why I hesitated with the three.
There was definitely like a bit of a bait too, where they played this one up as like, oh, this
Yeah,
game was premiered at Gamescom and it's returning and it's this big, and people were like, oh, okay, like what is it? And I was like, okay,
oh, it's Little Nightmares 3.
it's this fucking game.
That will be releasing in 2024, and it will have a co-op mode. Then we have Lords of the Fallen. It also had a story trailer, which looked awesome. Next is Marvel Snap, which will be releasing out of early access on Steam for those who are big fans of Marvel and big fans of card games. Next big one
I did play it. So after the stream, I think it was either that night or the day after.
Okay, what's your
I
thoughts
did.
on this?
I
Because I
did.
know you've been kind
I
of
just can't.
hesitant.
I just no. I mean, I tried. I think there was some sort of test I was a part of when it was before it launched on mobile. So I've played the game on mobile before, and then I played it on. So I played the Steam version earlier this week, and I just can't get into this. I can't get into this game. So I think that really just reinforces that I don't like standalone trading card games. I only like trading card games when they're inside of other games,
Oh, well,
which is The Witcher, Final Fantasy 14, Genshin Impact. I feel like there's maybe another one, but so if it's a card game inside of a game, I'm all in. But standalone game,
well,
not
wait.
for me.
Do I have a game for you? Wait till closing thoughts. Next
Oh
game,
shit!
yeah, next game we want to talk about is Mortal Kombat 1. In this one, it had a reveal for two new characters, which are returning characters, which is Sindel and General Shao. Two very historic characters from the series, which they showed off some gameplay for them, and combos and stuff like that looked really, really good. Still, people are giving a lot of hype to Mortal Kombat, rightly so. Ed Boon also confirmed that John Cena will be voicing Peacemaker, and J.K. Simmons will be voicing Omni-Man in Mortal Kombat 1. Still no word on whether Anthony Starr will be voicing Homelander, which I hope they do get him. Obviously, we love the show and we want to see him voice the character. But it looks good. It's pretty cool that we had Street Fighter release in July. We have this releasing in September, and then we're gonna have Tekken releasing next year. Kind of, separating, giving enough time for each other for everybody to enjoy the game. Your thoughts on the Mortal Kombat new characters and the voice actors for the
I think
characters?
I think it's great that they're getting the likenesses and well, assuming they get Anthony Starr, but I'm just assuming that's going to happen. But if they can pull it off, having the likenesses and the actual voice actors for that, I think that's awesome. Other than that, like I'm just kind of like eh
But
on this
that's
game. Like the trail, again, and they've always done a good job with trailers and cinematics and stuff like that. So I think it all looks great, but when you actually get into the fighting, like it just like doesn't look that appealing to me. Uh,
But that's like your selling point, right? If they do get Anthony Starr to voice Homelander, you will get the game.
maybe I don't know. I know I've said that before, but that was before I played the game, and then now that I've played the game, I'm just like, I don't really like this. Uh, but I did play it with like a very limited set of characters. It was like the first network test or whatever it was, so it didn't have any characters I liked. It was very limited. So, maybe trying to be a little bit more optimistic. Maybe if I play the full version, I'll have a better time with it. So we'll see. But yeah, as of right now, I'm not particularly excited for this title. Not nearly as much as I was for Street Fighter 6. And I think that with Tekken 8, I think I'm definitely interested in it, but also not as much as Street Fighter 6, but much more than Mortal Kombat.
Gotcha. Well, they also announced the single player mode for it. It's gonna have something called Invasion mode, which is basically like a Mario Party type board game where you go around, and then you can also do challenges where you can do individual battles and mini games with modifiers on as you go along on the board. So that looks pretty cool. Obviously, we said we're big fans of the old like single player stuff, like the crypt to unlock extra stuff, which this looks to be the case. So if you're a big Mortal Kombat fan or fighting game fan, this definitely looks pretty enjoyable, and like they're doing a good job. And like I said, I'm still enjoying every kind of story trailer that they release with each characters. I feel like I've learned more about the world of Mortal Kombat in these trailers than I've kind of known in its whole life cycle. So that's pretty cool. Next game is Nightingale, which is a card-based first-person action game. could be right up your alley, Nick. Then we had a Payday 3 trailer, which is looks more like a just shooter instead of a bank heist
Which is
game.
no longer a heist game.
Yeah, what the fuck? They did show off a Sonic Frontiers trailer showing off playable characters. Then a Sonic Superstars trailer, which is the one that resembles more the 90s game. We had Stormgate, which is a PvP RTS game. Shout out Soali again, that's for you. Rebel Moon trailer was shown off by Zack Snyder. I forgot his name. I was gonna say director Zack Snyder showed off his Rebel Moon trailer, but I forgot and then I remembered. He showed off a trailer for his new movie that'll be coming out on Netflix, and I have never been so disinterested in a movie than that. They showed off a Tekken 8 trailer showcasing the arcade mode and the collectibles you'll be able to have, as well as announcing the release date for the game, which, like I said earlier, it's going to be January 26th, 2024. Looks very interesting for those Tekken fans. Then we had Under the Wave, which is a deep diving submarine exploring game. Warhaven, which is a free-to-play melee combat game very similar to For Honor. We had a brand new Sendless Zone Zero Triple C's trailer, and then the last one was Thank Goodness You're Here, which is a hand-drawn side-scroller platformer trailer. So that wraps it up for the Gamescom and everything that they showed. My thoughts on the showcase, obviously Jeff Keighley said that there wasn't going to be anything new. There was, I think, enough footage for me to enjoy it. I don't think I would have, unless we were live streaming it, I don't think I would have watched it. I would have probably just caught up on it on the internet, but I did enjoy a couple trailers that showed off a lot of gameplay for certain games that I really had a lot of fun with, like we mentioned, Mortal Kombat, Cyberpunk, the Crimson Desert, Grand Blue Fantasy, and all that stuff, and also beef up the security. Jeff, what do you think of the whole showcase?
Yeah, it would have been fine, I think, if we weren't live streaming it. Like if it was just I probably still would have watched the show, but would have been 25 to 50% been paying attention to it. And even if I missed stuff, I would have caught, the few trailers that I cared about after the fact. So um it was fine. It was just kind of boring. But I think they appropriately managed expectations with it's really just seeing more of things that people already have seen. Um, I think they just kind of need to go. They need to do this. There needs to be some sort of show to kick off the broader like actual convention and trade show that's in person in Germany. Uh, but it does again, and I think maybe we talked about this a bit on the live stream where it's like, is this always like, is this just the way it is now? Where some of these events are going to be more of the deeper looks into things that we already know about, uh, or is this just kind of like kind of like just like a boring year for Gamescom? So I don't know.
It seems like it's a boring year for announcements, but not releases, which is kind of weird because you mostly have a great year for announcements and boring year for releases.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like increasingly platforms, so PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, they just want to control the narrative and they want to talk about new stuff on their terms and through their channels. Uh, so I kind of feel like increasingly a lot of these big so whatever happens with E3 or Summer Game Fest or whatever, that's like the big event in the US, and then you have Gamescom in Europe, and then you have Tokyo Game Show in Japan. It's like is previously like back in the old days, those were the events where it's like, oh, here's this all this new stuff and people are losing their minds and there's all this hype. And I feel like that's gonna go away and it's really just gonna be more focused on the in-person experience, whether you're going there as a fan or as like someone who's working in the industry and you're just going there to network and connect with people. Um, so I don't know. It's so this was kind of just like more evidence that these big trade shows are gonna like there's still gonna be events and live streams, but there's not gonna be these like big megaton announcements. It's going to be deeper dives, and then the emphasis is really going to be more on the in-person experience.
Yeah, and the good thing is there's so many good releases this year that it's kind of distracted us from like being, oh, we need showcases because we're too busy playing games.
Yeah, I was like pissed because I was like, I could be playing Baldur's Gate right now,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
but instead I got to chug coffee to stay awake on this live stream.
And almost have a heart attack.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The next thing we wanted to talk about is the PlayStation Portal. For those that didn't know, Sony announced this, I believe, during the summer. It's basically like a 8-inch screen with the sides of a DualSense controller. It'll have a 1080p LCD display. It'll have remote play from the PlayStation where you can play games up to 60 FPS. The price starts off at $200. Very interesting device. We knew about this, obviously, like I said, since the summer. We just didn't know the major details. And the major detail, which I think they announced and got a lot of people upset, is that it will be able to stream your game catalog from your PlayStation 5, but only PlayStation 5 games. It won't be able to do anything that's sort of backwards compatibility, and it also won't be able to do the cloud streaming that PlayStation has, the PlayStation Extra and the PlayStation Premium, I believe they're called, which kind of sucks. It won't have Bluetooth audio support. Sony's promoting their own like proprietary PlayStation Link wireless technology, which is also its own thing. And as far as battery life goes, it seems to have, according to the rumor, it seems that the battery life is going to be very similar to the DualSense, which, take that as you may, it's probably going to suck. These handheld devices, especially with their outputs, don't really hold too much battery. This is it's weird because it's like my thinking of this is like, who is this for? Obviously, if I had an extra $200 to throw away, I would get this just so I can be in the comfort of my couch, have my TV on something else, and be able to play whatever I want to play on from the PlayStation. But I can also do this already with I forget the name of it, what Sony calls it, but you can already do this. You can all kind of play whatever's on your console.
It's just remote play.
Remote play, yeah. You can already do that with remote play on various devices. So I don't see what the big deal is. They should have just announced a portable console that does more. And if you would have charged $400, I would have understood, and I would have probably bought it for $400 and feel like get more use out of it. It feels to me like Sony struck out twice so far this year with the PlayStation VR 2. Unfortunately, with the price point and also the releases, nobody was really interested in it. And then with this as well, and the portable headphones, the Bluetooth headphones that they announced with this as well. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's interesting. I ultimately view it as like an accessory as opposed to it's being its own type of platform. So I think with that mindset, I think it's like, okay, well, it's a thing. It has its own fairly specific use case of like you have to already have a PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation 5 games installed on it. So I think most people would probably use it at home, but you can also travel with it. Like you just need to have an internet connection anywhere and be able to play the games through remote play. So, but I think it's just like a fairly narrow use case. So I feel like it's not going to do a big number in terms of sales. It'll just be people who are Sony, PlayStation fanboys and just kind of buy whatever hardware they put out, which we know some of those people. No judgment.
It might be me.
So, I mean, I think it looks kind of cool. I know that people are maybe like dinging it because it's just like literally cutting a controller in half and putting a screen in the middle. But I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. But I think where you're getting a lot of negative sentiment are people who want a dedicated, like they don't just want an accessory to a PlayStation 5. They want a dedicated, platform for playing games portably. So think of it as a successor to PS Vita or something like that. So this this ain't that by any means. Um, part of me wonders if they're maybe trying to like test the waters somehow with cloud gaming and remote play, as like maybe they're trying to learn something about a potential new handheld device that would be its own kind of platform. So, but because it's $200, I think that's why I'm like more okay with it, because I was actually, for some reason, I thought that they were gonna like charge more like 300 or more for this. But because of I think it's actually like a pretty compelling price point. Um, so because of that, it's like, okay, well, like, it's just kind of like a thing. If people, have a crowded house and just need to, I know. So I see the use case. It's just not going to be this like, it's not going to be a big seller, I don't think.
Yeah, the other thing is very interesting in the part of the OS. I believe it's Android based, so there could be a potential, especially for a lot of people, to just mess around with it and do cool things on it. So that'll be interesting, at least on my end, to see if anybody, you know,
It'll be hilarious if you can hack it to get Game Pass on it.
there you go, there you go, just play Game Pass on it.
The obviously the cloud version of it, but I think you need to like get Microsoft Edge installed or something. I can't remember. I remember trying to do this I was trying to get, I think, Fortnite on the Steam
Oh yeah,
Deck,
that's right, that's right.
and you had to like, it was like a bunch of hoops you had to jump through to make that happen, and it was awful. Like the Microsoft Cloud, I think performance just isn't. It's not. It's not as good as what I played with Stadia, and it's not as good as what I played with GeForce Now. Uh, have you used PlayStation's cloud streaming?
No,
No,
no.
I do. I can't remember if I told you the story, but I was trying to play Bloodborne. I was having genuine issues with like the frame rate, like it was like making me dizzy and nauseous. And
Oh, I didn't know you were trying to do that to the cloud.
no, I bought it. I mean, I bought it for PS4, so I have a physical copy on PS4, and I was like, I don't know why I thought this, but I'm like, maybe if I try to play through the cloud Bloodborne on my
That sounds like the
PC,
worst idea.
and I was like, it was a nightmare. So that wasn't a good idea. But that's been my
It
only
made it
cloud.
it made it worse.
Yeah, well, but I mean, it was like just as bad in my mind. So I don't really have a good performance indicator for PlayStation Cloud, because the game that I used it was like already giving me a bunch of headaches. So,
Well, I've heard no
but anyway,
complaints, so I think it's good. I know some people that do have it and they use it, and they haven't complained about it, and it's a big library, so kudos to them.
yeah, I think if I didn't have a Steam Deck, and they're like, I think, very different devices, but for me, there's enough overlap where, because I have a Steam Deck, I'm like, there's no chance I'm going to buy this thing. But if I didn't have a Steam Deck, there might have been a small chance that and again, it's $200. It's like, it's kind of like a dumb thing. I'll use it every once in a while, but
Well, maybe we'll get popular enough, and Sony will send us one to review, if only.
no. So what I was wondering was, because you mentioned it, is PSVR 2, I think, hasn't sold hasn't sold that well. And I wonder, I could see this doing better just because of the price point, right? Like I think people think very highly of the PSVR 2 hardware, and for what it is, it's actually, like, I think, a good value proposition, but ultimately it's still a lot of money for a lot of people. So I think that's just a pretty big barrier. And when there's no real compelling content, like, people aren't just going to buy it. So I don't know, but I think for this, I feel like it's like a good, like, Christmas. I could see this like doing well in the holidays. I pray to God that parents actually know that you need to have a PlayStation first, I think
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, everyone's going to be confused about how this thing actually works." So that's going to happen, but even for parents in the know and whatever, I think this could be like a pretty cool accessory for PlayStation 5 user.
Yeah, the install base is healthy enough where I think it'll definitely be sold really well. Well, it'll sell really well if there's enough interest. All right, moving on to the last topic we're going to talk about, and that's Destiny 2, which I will mostly talk about it, not Nick. So, like I said before in last week's episode, the Destiny 2 Final Shape showcase was shown on Tuesday. Bungie did a showcase for about 45 minutes, revealing what the Final Shape saga will unfold, which will be wrapping up next year. Basically, they just showed off videos of new locations. You'll be going inside the Traveler, which is the thing that gives you your powers in Destiny, kind of, for those of you that don't know. They showed off some new supers for your characters. For your Titan, you can throw an axe and your teammates can pick it up and use it. For the Hunter, you can throw your blade and teleport and kill things. And then for your Warlock, you can burn everything. So that looked pretty cool. As a big Destiny person, and for everybody that listens out there, I know they were excited about that. The supers are like that, fantasy that Bungie wanted everybody to fulfill, that space magic that everybody wants to feel. They also showed off a couple new guns. They also mentioned that they will be bringing back some old guns from Destiny 1, which I was super excited about. Shout outs to the Red Death, my favorite gun from Destiny 1. And there'll be improvements to the matchmaking for the campaign, where now if you're joining somebody and the campaign or the level is overmatched and you're not powerful enough to do it, it'll average the power to the one with the highest power. So it'll be easier for somebody like you, Nick, who doesn't play Destiny and wants to jump in, and you don't have to worry about being under leveled or anything like that. They also said that they will be changing the future seasons. There will no longer be seasons. So we used to get, well, right now we're getting 4 seasons per year, every 3 months basically. Going forward, after the Final Shape, it'll be episodes, which will have its own new missions, new weapons, new lore, exotic stuff, which is very interesting. And they'll be serving as epilogues for this Final Shape story that will be wrapping up and leading into whatever future story they want to tell. I think as a showcase, obviously I look forward to this every year from Destiny, just to see what new powers and what new weapons and what the big thing is going to be for each year of starting Destiny again. And I think it satisfied a lot of people in terms of what they wanted to see. Obviously, they didn't show a lot of stuff, and the stuff they did show is early footage because they're still working on it. And there's still a couple seasons left before they wrap all this up, and this releases in February. But I think a lot of people are satisfied. And then they also released the Season of the Witch, which is the newest season that also started on Tuesday as well. And that has a card mini game kind of in there, which is what I'll talk about in my closing thoughts. But it looks very interesting. I'm super happy with the content that they're going to be releasing going forward in the future. And I feel like everybody, at least they were satisfied enough, like you said earlier when we were talking about Destiny, every Destiny player is not happy, and they're not happy. That's why they play Destiny. But I think they everybody at least had something that they liked about this showcase. Did you catch any of this? No.
No,
No. All right.
get out of here.
Well, that's my only thing to you. I'll tell you this. It looks like they're trying to make it easier, which is they say this every year when something like this is coming up.
Do you know how many fucking times I've heard that, and how many times I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna here. This is the time I'm gonna get into the game.
But hopefully it's true, because I want you to experience what I experience. But then if you do experience it, then I feel like you'll be in the same boat as me, where you hate it but you also love it, which is kind of a double-edged sword. But we'll see.
I'm done. Unless someone's like paying me, I'm not fucking playing that game ever again.
You heard that, Bungie? You can sponsor us. They actually had a creator thing.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine them like seeing what I've said on this game and then us doing a sponsored stream?
Yeah, they actually were like
No.
creators. If you want to sign up, and I'm gonna sign up for us. I'll be like,
Okay.
one of us loves Destiny,
I,
the
th-
other one doesn't want anything to do with it.
I think the highlight would be the when we did the tournament and I'm like not even paying attention.
Yeah, I have the recording, so I can submit that.
Great.
All right, so that wraps it up for all the news that we wanted to talk about, and we'll move on to some closing thoughts. I'll start it off. Like I said, brand new season of Destiny, Season of the Witch. Looks really fun so far. The seasonal activity, which they usually change every year, every season, my bad, is really, really fun. A lot of people have been enjoying it. There is a card game system, which you can unlock certain cards, and then when you do the seasonal activity, it unlocks special perks where you can get like unlimited heavy ammo, healing, you can get burning and stuff like that. So that's what I meant by the card system. It's not a full game within a game of cards, so
Bullshit.
you're still not getting in there. And then really enjoying that, and they have some new Trials gear with, Trials is their very competitive PvP modes, which I suck at, but I've been playing a lot of it just to get the gear. For the Titan, you get like a whole set that you look like a bear. For the Hunter, which is what I mainly main, you get a whole set you look like a hawk, and then for the Warlock, you get a whole set that looks like a dragon. So the art department outdid themselves with this new season Trials gear. It looks amazing. And then another game which we're big fans of, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Wow, is all I can say. I mean, we're big From Software fans, but I think they knocked it out of the park again. I only played the first mission up to the boss and beat the boss because I've been also playing a lot of Destiny, so I didn't get a chance to do a lot of it. But just playing that, it's like the game looks great. It runs great. It's the From Software pedigree, but you're in a mech. Where it feels like a from Soulsborne game, but at the same time it's not. So it's pretty good. And then now you have this whole area of using the sky because you can kind of fly around and use that as movement, which I'm still getting used to it. It's thrown me off a couple of times, but I think that just adds another layer to the game, which I really enjoy, and I can't wait to get back on it. And the game looks great. And that's it for me on closing thoughts. What about you?
Well, just to follow on to that, yeah, I think I'm almost through chapter 1. So I'm basically like the last thing to do to close out chapter 1. And I have no idea what that actually means in context of the full game. Do you know how many chapters there are? Or,
No.
no, yeah. So I don't know. But like I've made, I've played the game quite a bit. I've probably beat like 3 or 4, like challenging bosses at this point. Yeah, I mean it's an awesome game. I was actually surprised, kind of what you were saying. I was surprised by how I think the game looks incredible. Uh, just like the mech designs, it's just runs super smooth, at least for my machine. Um, so I've been very happy with that. And yeah, like it's you can tell it's a From Software game, and I've never played prior Armored Core games, so take that. But you can tell it's a From Software game, but I don't feel like it's like Soulsborne. Like it feels like it's mechs, it's arcadey, it's very mission oriented. I think it's difficult, and maybe some of the movement and maybe some of the core systems, like there's some parallels with other From Software games, but I feel like it's kind of very distinct from anything else I've played from them. Uh, so for me, yes, I'm having a really good time with it. So it's been a tough balance of that and Baldur's Gate, which couldn't be any different in terms of game experiences. But that's been my challenge, is trying to find time to play both of those games.
there's two gamers inside of you. The one that wants to blow shit up with a mech, and then the one that wants to get somebody to kill themselves through dialogue.
That's correct.
The duality of man. But
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, there was some inkling in the beginning prior to the game release that people were saying it looked like shit, but I think it's one of the best
I
looking
don't
games of the
get that.
year.
Yeah, no, like I remember, I mean, I think I was texting you guys in my first like 10 minutes with the game. I'm just like, this game looks unbelievable and it runs perfect. So I'm playing at, 4K over 120 frames per second. Or no, is it maybe it's locked at 120? I can't remember, but so it's super smooth, looks incredible. The world, just like the color palettes and skyscapes and or skyboxes, like they just everything looks awesome. And I'm really looking forward to. I've only really scratched the surface of building my mech. So there's just like unlimited possibility with doing that. So far, all I've really done is get the Ava one, Neon Genesis color palette, the green and purple color palette. I've adopted that on my Mac, but other than that, I still got a lot more to do and play around with in terms of the customization.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of secrets. We already know that there's a couple hidden chests and stuff, but it's from software. They love their secrets, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people will uncover stuff. And I have seen somebody made a Kirby AC armor core, and then somebody also made a Gundam one, which I think I will stick to the Gundam one. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to customize my own. Um, Anything else? Any movies, TV
We
shows?
did so not too much TV movie wise. We did try Exo Primal finally, and I think that is a dud.
Oh man, I
I
don't
think I
know.
think that was a one and done.
What makes it a dud? Why you guys didn't
There's
enjoy
just
it?
there's just nothing there's just nothing to it.
You
You just
shoot
play.
dinosaurs, you kill dinosaurs, and move on.
Yeah, there's just nothing to it. Like it's basically the same mode from the network test.
Damn, I was kind of looking
Uh,
forward to it. I was like, ooh, I feel like I could mindlessly just do this.
yeah, no, me too, right? Like I was looking forward to it. It's just like dumb game where you shoot dinosaurs, and like I'm into that idea. So, I mean, the game looks really good. It runs well, but there's just not a lot to it. So just the complete kind of lack of depth with the game. Like so, we played it one. I mean, it was fun, but I think it was unanimous where it's like, we're all uninstalling that and probably never going to play that again. And unless they like, I know they have talked about a roadmap and all this stuff, but it's going to need to be substantial to you know get me to be interested in it again. And that was us playing it through Game Pass. So we just got it through Game Pass. There's people out there who like
Lucky, yeah.
paid. Yeah, there's people out there who like paid what was it, like $30 or something. Like
$30. I think it was
it was
like
a four.
$60.
Was it 60? Was it full price?
Yeah,
No
yeah,
way. If it was full price, no fucking way, dude.
yeah. Let me look it up while you
No
talk.
way. If that's a full price title, like someone at Capcom should be put in prison. Like that's insane. There's no way.
Yeah, $60.
60. Oh my god, dude. It's
I
like
mean,
it's like 5% of the content of what you would expect from like any free to play game that comes out.
well, I wonder what
So
the
to charge
sales
sixty
are.
bucks for that, I'm sure it's all game. It's like it must be 98% Game Pass.
There's probably a reason why it's on Game Pass then.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Well,
I think the title the title should have been free to play.
oh, okay.
Like it should have been a free to play title, but I think they just need to completely just like the core gameplay loop just like isn't. It's not that addictive. It's not like a battle royale where it's just like, okay, I'm fucking ready to jump back on the island and kill shit. Like it's just not there. So I think they need to just have more modes. And I think there's like kind of a campaign, but you really only advance that by just playing the same, like boring mode over and over. So they need to rethink that one.
Well, Capcom is known for innovation and maybe turning things around, and they have these varied titles, so I can see them doing a rework or something. Hopefully they fix it up, and I'll wait till it comes out on PlayStation Plus. All right, well, that does it for us on this episode. Make sure you guys are going to our website, pressingbuttons.gg, so you guys can link up to our YouTube channel, our Twitter, our Instagram, everywhere that we are at. And make sure you guys are out there listening for when we do our memory card segment. We want you guys to participate and be part of the community. And we love you guys. That's it for us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.